stuff. Um, other
Like
than
when we
that,
say dollar, we can't say dollar amount like I made $10,000 or I made $20,000, but we could like do simple math, right? Like so, if I got 100 pips at $3 a pip, that's $300. I could do that, right?
no. And we're live right now. So shush. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, we're live. All right, Kyle. So we're about 3 minutes early, but since we're on here already, I guess we can go ahead and get started. And did you receive the questions that I sent you?
I saw the questions that you sent.
Okay. So I'm going to go based off of that. But thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And for everybody watching, I am interviewing my cousin, Kyle, who has started trading, what was it, 4 or 5 months ago?
Uh, it was April, so that's what 4 months ago.
Yeah, 4. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And so you started in April, and what was your level of trading experience prior to that?
Prior to, I had no trading experience. I was aware of the market. I was aware of uh, charts and a little bit of understanding how price related to those charts. But as far as trading, I had no experience.
So, what did you think when I introduced you to Forex 2 years ago? Not talking about people, talking about the actual, like what you heard. Like, what did you think about it?
I thought it was crazy.
You thought
When
Forex was crazy?
I
Not the
thought it was,
people.
I know, I thought it was crazy. Um, Trying to read the charts and market. Put it like this: I was a little intimidated by it, and I knew that it was going to take a lot of time. Um, and so I heard you talk about it with excitement, and you kept pushing me saying that I probably would be good in it because we used to talk about the economy and the market and stuff. But when I saw it, I just thought it was going to be a whole lot more than what it actually turned out to be. Put it like that. So I psyched myself out.
So, did you not get involved for as long as you did because you were intimidated by it?
I gotta honestly, I would have to say I was intimidated to the point that I thought it was going to take too much time trying to figure it out, and so that's why I kept pushing it off.
You never told me that.
I can't tell you all my secrets. A magician never reveals all secrets.
You're funny. Okay. Okay. And so I guess the big question is why now? Why was now a good time for you?
Well, I was with a really good company, and when COVID hit, we were in a position where they were going to start laying off people, and they offered severance packages for some of their employees. The division that I was in was the newer division, and they were going to slash a lot of the divisions. So you could take a severance, or you could hang around and try to avoid the layoffs. Which, come to find out, as I talked to some of my old coworkers, they took pay cuts and then eventually got laid off anyway. So
Wow.
I took the severance, and I just thought it was a great time for me to get involved with learning a new skill. I finally felt like I had the time to learn all that stuff that you were talking about. And ultimately, I thought that from the skill that I learned, I could put myself in a position that I didn't necessarily need someone else uh, to take care of me financially, meaning a job.
Right.
So I just thought all the stars aligned at this time, and I thought it was a great time. So I just jumped in head first. Besides, I mean, we were quarantined. What else was there to do? I had nothing but time on my hands.
Right. So when you decided to take it on, like what type of schedule or what type of plan did you put together for yourself to learn?
Well, I know we had talked about the iMarket, and iMarkets had basically set up systems with the Go Live classes. It had the academy, and because at this time I wasn't working, I made the commitment that I was going to go after it like it was my job. So I wake up in the morning early because I was
What's
trying
early?
to, well, early was I was trying to trade London session. So when we
Oh.
say early, so we're talking about like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But it turned out to be really difficult because I still had my daughter and she was in school. So I'm trying to trade London session and I'm falling asleep. I'm tired throughout the day. It really wasn't working. So I got involved with the IM classes, watching the go live, learning from those sessions, and I just went ahead like a normal work day. So I started to get up around 7:15. Hit the charts. Then I kind of started to get a feel of how the various markets, when London session was closing and when U.S. was open up, how candles were reacting, how price was reacting, and so it kind of helped give me a little structure to my day.
Okay. So that was while you were learning. So you
Yeah.
think you spent more time like trying to understand and figure out what was going on than you do an analysis now?
Oh, for sure, definitely, because there was so much information that I was just new to. But I realized that if I understood it, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. That if I understood it and I got it, there's a lot that could be created out of it. Meaning, um, you know, goals, financial goals, things that I
Yeah.
wanted to put in place, personal goals, things that I wanted to do. So I saw the value there, so I went after it. But I definitely feel like in learning, I put a lot more time in learning than I probably do now in analysis and trading.
Okay. And so now that you're actually active, like how much time would you say that you spend every day analyzing charts?
Um, I, I I probably hate to say this because I don't want people to think that it is this easy, but I think realistically I put about 4 hours or less into every day just because I still kind of keep the same pattern of waking up at 7:15, looking at the charts, looking at what I'm seeing. I actually felt comfortable in that time frame trading between 7 and 9. So I might do most of my damage as far as my trading between that time, between 7 and when the U.S. market opens at 9:30, and then because of IML, I'll still do even now. I'll do the go live classes at 9:30, and that usually runs me. They usually stay on to about an hour, hour and a half, so that usually runs me at the time to about 11:30, 12, and by then U.S. markets are going to lunch, so price and everything is slowing down. So I'm usually done trading by 12. So I'm about a 4 hour day, which is much less than what it was when I was punching the clock at the price.
So between the classes that you do and
Mm-hmm.
the trading that you do, you're done
Mm-hmm.
by for sure by 1 o'clock.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. So I got to ask you this because you mentioned I Am Mastery Academy. Um, I know that there's a lot of negative information out there about I Am Mastery Academy. And I have to
Mm-hmm.
ask you this. Do you think it's a scam?
No, I don't think it's a scam. What I think is a scam is when people get involved with the IML just to do, let's say, the multi-level marketing. If you take the approach that you're using it as a resource, because I
Mm-hmm.
think the resources are tremendous with the academy, with the
Yeah.
live training. You can watch professionals trade and explain the trade. I don't think that's a scam at all. It's like if I was able to practice with Kobe Bryant or LeBron every day playing basketball, then
Right.
that's how I look at it with IML. But if you're into
Okay.
it because you're trying to get a quick buck or you're trying to, you know, just build your upline, yeah, I can see it as a scam because you got to get other people to believe in something where you're not totally bought into the process.
Right. I agree
So,
with you. I agree. I think I explained before that I had joined with IM and it wasn't necessarily the right team
yeah.
and rejoined. And now I'm with a team that focuses on just like education, not team building. So I think that's huge. But I just wanted to ask you so that we can set the record straight for folks and they're not just automatically making a decision that, you know, it's a scam. I think it's a great resource too. But it's good
Uh,
coming from somebody else other than me.
well, of course, because if you Google it, then it's gonna pop up that it's a scam, and that's gonna come from people that got burned
Right.
trying to A, build an upline, or B, they got involved with a team that wasn't focused on trading.
Right.
They're focused on trying to build an upline. The skill is trading that nobody can take away from you. Nobody can take education away from you, and that's why I like IML.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me ask you, I'm curious, what does your trading workstation look like? Like, do you trade from your cell phone? Do you mark up charts from your cell phone? How do you do it?
No, so I mark up charts from my computer, which I am very tech illiterate at. So I'm always asking you, how do I screenshot? How do I do this? How do I do that? But yeah, I mark up my charts from my computer. I used to try to trade from my phone, just
Yep.
using um, uh, the moving average crosses.
Yeah. How did
And
that go?
so that, there was some success there, but you lose a lot of, because the moving averages are, as Benny would say, lagging indicators. You lose, I think, a lot of the big picture. So I started trading from the computer, marking up my charts from the computer, and I've just had much more success and been able to actually learn a lot more because you get a bigger picture than just a little 4x7 screen I'm looking at.
Right.
So
Right. I agree. I think being able to utilize a computer and like a trading system to mark up charts is far more effective than trying to trade from your cell phone. So I think a lot of the advertisement that people see about forex and, you know, make money from your phone, like you still have to mark up a chart if you really
yep,
trading.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And as far as I guess strategy that you use, what does that look like?
So my strategy is a combination, and I say a combination because we have a naked chart. I'll use support, resistance, trend line, but then I would still use for another form of confluence. So I'm
Oh,
speaking
look
the
at you. Big
lingo.
words, big words.
I will still use the moving average crosses, my 4 and my 50. I know there's a whole strategy based upon using the 4 and 50, and people do tremendous at it. But I still like being able to look at my support, resistance, draw zone, trend line, and then you're teaching me how to use the fib. So I'm learning how to
Hey.
incorporate that into my training.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So that 4 and that 50, I don't use EMA. Somebody actually emailed me asking about them, and I definitely couldn't answer the question because I use just trend lines, support and resistance levels. So another
right.
question that I got too was, do you think trend lines are actually like legit, or do you think it's just coincidence?
No, I think trend lines are legit because I have, in marking up charts using a horizontal trend line, I have watched price touch that trend line and continue to touch that trend line, working its way down,
Yeah.
um, which would indicate a trend because price continue to keep touch it. And let's say it's a buy, the candles will keep going up, but they won't break it. And let's
Right.
say it's a sale, it will do the same thing. So I believe in the trend line, the break, the retest. I believe in
It's as simple as that.
it. It is, and it
It
is.
is, but what?
It is. So, and like you and I have had the conversation. When I first started trading and I first started doing good, then I was just basically all I was focused on was waiting for a trend line break, waiting for a retest, and jumping in the trade. Now
Hmm.
that I feel like I know more and things that I should look for, sometimes you got to look at more parts of the picture to see what's going on instead of just that little piece that I was looking at. So I think in some aspects it's made me a better trader, but I think sometimes it's kind of caused me to get in my own way because I'm trying to not analyze too much. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll eventually get out of that as you continue to sharpen your skill and learn how to use the different tools.
Right.
Because right now I think you're still fairly new and just
Yeah.
taking it all in. Yeah. We said four
For sure.
months you've been doing this. And you
Right.
mentioned, I think you mentioned that what session do you trade?
So I like to trade indices. I know we started out. You were teaching me how to swing
Uh-oh.
trade. That's just the dog. He's killing somebody. Don't worry about it. He's fine.
He don't
Yeah.
sound
So,
happy.
oh, he's just protecting the house. That's what he does. So, Tyson, that's enough. So, we started out swing trading and learning how to swing trade, and for me, it just felt a little slow with the process. So, I like to trade indices, and the first industry I was introduced to was German 30, and the German 30 industry is heavy during the London session.
Hmm.
So that's why I was waking up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to try to catch the German 30 when I kind of realized a good sweet spot for it was between, um, for me, between that 7 and when the US 30 market would open up around 9:30. So I'll trade London and I will trade the US session.
Okay. So do you only trade indices?
I do not. I am heavy into the indices. I will trade a pair or two during the week. But unlike you, it's a little different.
What you
Look,
mean?
when I do the indices, they move quickly, and I'm okay with it. When I trade pairs, they move very slowly, and it stresses me out waiting for a move to happen. So I know you and I used to talk about how the indices move so fast it stresses you out. I'm okay with it. It's the slow moving pairs that have me on my nerves. So, but it teaches me patience. It teaches me patience. But
So
I
have
do
you
trade,
traded like the GBP pairs? Because they move pretty fast.
but not like the German 30 or the US or even SPX or not. But yeah, they do move. They do move. But the indices, the indices I shouldn't say this, but the indices, in my opinion, almost is like an ATM. You could jump in, jump out
Oh
in 10,
boy.
15
Don't
minutes
tell people
and
that.
walk away.
Don't
I
tell
know I
people
shouldn't say that.
don't tell people
I
that
shouldn't say
because
that.
because just as quickly as you get that money, you can lose it.
You can lose it. You're right. You can. You can.
Because
So,
I
um,
started trading well, not indices. I started trading German 30 because of you. And while I made some really, really great profits, there were some big losses in there too. I don't know if I sent you
and
that
I've had
screenshot.
some. I've had some before. I've had
Yeah.
some big losses too, but more often than not, I've had more successes
Yeah.
trading the
Right.
indices, so I'm comfortable there. So
Yeah.
that's
I
just
agree. I agree. I agree. But would you recommend like the German 30 for somebody brand new trying to learn how to trade
oh
it?
no, 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 and especially right now, until I think that the U.S. kind of figures out what they're going to do as far as unemployment and the people and the stimulus package, the indices are moving like crazy.
Yeah,
So
they
for
are.
someone who's new, and even myself, even though I'm not brand new, I am still new, and um, I wouldn't advise jumping in there because it
Yeah.
will take your heart.
Yes, it will. Yes,
It
it
will take your heart.
will. And you be
So
mad you lost all your money thinking you was about to
correct,
strike gold.
correct. Because Kyle said that it was like an ATM.
So Kyle is telling you all
Yeah,
that it's just as dangerous. In one way it can work good, it can work that way in the bad as well. So you don't
buyer
want to start
beware.
off trading. Yeah, you don't want to start off trading indices. Um, but
Mhm.
GBP pairs are pretty cool because they have a pretty high ATR. So they move really fast. And I think out of all of
Yeah.
the Forex pairs, you probably see the most movement on those as opposed to
Hmm.
any other pairs. So, um,
Right.
okay. So you said that trend lines work. Resistance and support
Yep.
levels are real. You've seen them be respected even in German
Yes.
30. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And I guess I may have asked you this. Let me know if I did or didn't. How do you prepare for the week? Do you prepare by the week as far as what your game plan is for that week, or do you prepare every single day?
Well, I like it every day. So in the evening time, specifically on Sunday, I like to take an overall view of maybe what I see the market is doing, taking an overall trend. I'll whip out a fib and look for my swing highs, swing lows, start seeing where prices reacted to zones. I know I have set up zones on my chart, and I've seen price stay in zones and respect the zone and not leave a zone. So every morning when I wake up, I will look at my charts, kind of find out, set up my trend lines. Every morning I do that, set up my trend line. Um, and then I watch the candles to say I find a trade that I jump into. And then before I go to bed at night, I'll do the same thing. I'll set up trend lines and I'll see what happened when I wake up in the morning. I'll see what would have happened, or I guess what did happen overnight. If a trend line was broken, if there's a new trend. So I guess my preparation is every day instead of one big weekly,
Right.
uh, one day over the weekend where I'm just marking up charts.
And so that's probably because they move so fast or the indices
Correct.
move so quickly. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And what was your best trading, I guess, trade, period? Like how many pips did you earn or points?
We can give numbers or
Pips, yes, no dollars.
tips.
Pips, not profit.
Tips. Okay. Tips, not profit. I would have to say that's tough because last last week when you and I were talking, I caught because I can't get the number. I caught about 1,500 pips on one trade or two trades because I caught the market going down, and then I caught it in the retracement going up and then going back down again. So that was in three trades, but that was that was the day I was most proud because that's when I pulled out the fifth. I waited for the trend line break, and I have to as God is my witness, I probably had less than a $50 drawdown on that
Really?
trade.
Are
Yeah,
you saying you
it was
becoming a
it.
pro with the Fibonacci tool? The one you said
Whoa,
you
whoa,
would
whoa,
never
whoa,
use?
whoa, 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 whoa. No, I literally think that I woke up at the right time that day. I think that everything just fell in line that day. I literally woke up at the top of a wave. So when I drew my trend line, you could see the wave was going to start coming down to break
Right.
the trend line. And it was a distinct swing high and a distinct swing low. And I just everything happened perfectly that day.
Yeah.
So I am not a pro by any means. I am as amateur as Jackie Moon.
So wait though, did you say how many pips that was total?
Yeah, it was 1,500. It was
1500.
1,500 pips total.
1500 pips in a day. Okay, I
Yeah.
missed that. I'm sorry. I was trying to talk to the people that we have watching. Hi everybody, and let them know that they could ask any questions that they had for you in the chat, and you'd be happy to answer, right?
I will. I will do my best. I will do my
Okay.
best as not to confuse you.
Okay. Well, 1500 pips in a day is pretty that's big time. Big time.
It was. It
Yeah.
was. It felt good going to my account. It was so much so that, like I told you and Ryan, like I stopped trading for the rest of the week. I was good. I
Yeah.
was good. Yeah.
And that's what I say. Like, if you meet your goal, just stop because 9 times out of 10, like, you're gonna, I don't want to say like over trade, but if you met your goal, you run the risk of losing the profit that you earn. and then
Right.
like you're back at the starting place.
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. And I guess on the opposite side, what was the biggest mistake that you've made in trading in your live account?
Oh, I forgot to, and I think I told you about this about 4 weeks ago. I forgot to close out trades on Friday on indices,
That was in your live account?
and it, yeah, that was on my live account.
Kyle.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
They-
know that. Okay,
I
go
wish.
ahead. Tell the story. I'm sorry.
So it was a Friday. It was all my fault. It was a Friday. I had taken a trade Friday, early Friday morning. I distinctly remember I went, got my hair cut, went golfing. Friday was feeling good because I had done great on my first trade. Came back, saw a setup in the market, and I wasn't paying attention. Um, I wasn't paying attention. So when I actually jumped in the trade, it was the U.S. market. It was around like 12:45, 1 o'clock. So because I literally heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear that brokers have gone to lunch. So the market moves slower between, like, let's say 12 and almost 2 o'clock. So I jumped in the trade. The market was moving slow and I didn't pay attention. And when I looked up, it was 5 o'clock and I realized I hadn't closed out my trade. And so the whole weekend I was sitting on pins and needles, hoping that the market, because it was a buy, I was hoping that the market kept going up and hit my TPs when it opened up. It was the German market, German 30. Um, and needless to say, that did not happen.
Did you blow your account?
No, I didn't blow it. I didn't blow it. I had stop losses.
Wow,
I
Kyle.
had stop losses, but the stop losses, I could, I should have closed it. I should have closed
Yeah.
the account when I saw that I wasn't going to hit. I should have just taken what I got, but no. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hit my stop loss, and yeah,
Did the trade end up going your way?
no, it did not go my way.
So I know obviously it hit your stop loss, but long term, like over the week, did it end up being a buy or it was a sell? You don't know.
I can't. Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay.
It was all I can remember was the feeling when I looked at my phone Sunday evening, and my heart was like my stomach dropped because I understood going in how much money you could lose,
Yeah.
with your risk tolerance. But I wasn't expecting to lose that because my analysis I felt was right. But the problem that I had was I didn't close out the trade, or I didn't protect my profits. Put it like that. I
Yeah.
didn't protect my profits, and so yeah. So I had taken. I might have over leveraged in the trade.
Yeah. Yeah. So wait though, Kyle, we got a question from Mess Cove 17. He said, or she said, sorry. How long did it take to remove all emotion for trading from remove all emotion from trading for you? And he asked this because in order to be traded indices, he says you have to be cold blooded.
um, I to be honest with you, I haven't.
You haven't.
I
Is that
no,
why you
I
scalp?
haven't. Probably. Like for me, it's a rush. It's a rush. Watching that
Oh
trade,
God.
um, it, yeah, I love it. So I can't say that I've taken the emotion out of it because I get excited and I like to jump in the trade, and then when I lose trade, I do get pissed off at myself because there's probably things that I didn't do, meaning I rushed into a trade, not completely waiting for the trend line break or the retest, or I jumped in on, let's say, a long candle that broke my trend
Yeah.
line and not waited on the retest. And so now you're in huge drops. Like I've made a mistake doing it. So, and
Yeah.
then you and I had the conversation almost a month and a half ago about me revenge trading.
Yes.
So, whereas I'm not revenge trading, I'm not that bad anymore. I cannot completely say that I've taken my emotion out of the trade. I'm not that cold blooded.
So yeah, he says he's not that cold blooded, but somewhat
Yeah,
obviously because you're still winning. Overall, you win more than you
right.
lose, and you're
I
in and
do,
out.
which
Like,
is
well, how
exciting.
long is your average trade?
Literally, well, so this was a conversation that I was having, and this was some of my frustration. I talked to Benny about this, um, because over the summer, and he was the one that broke it down to me how there's different volume levels, different times of year. So
Yep.
during the spring and early summer, literally in May and June, I would literally be in trade 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes and walk away
Wow,
with,
I couldn't do that.
let's
Go
say,
ahead though.
the same amount of money, the same amount of money that I was making when I was working full time, and I thought a real good job, and I was paying very well. I would have made that money in 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But now, since it's the summertime, and let's say the volume is there, sometimes I
Yeah,
find myself in trades 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, waiting for a move, and that's what kind of frustrates me, and that's
yeah.
what kind of makes me a little antsy. Um, I have had some success, but it's all a part of learning. So
Un-
it varies.
Understand. Understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what advice would you give for um new traders?
To find out which style works best for
Yep.
you and then learn that style. Because I was in a group where I guess you say I'm still in a group where they have multiple styles of learning. So
Yeah.
um, Casey introduced me to support, resistance, and trend line. But the other group, they do a strategy like crocodile. And there's another group
What
that
is
does
that?
teacups. Well, that's looking at various moving averages, like using the MACD. I mean, I don't quite understand it, so I stayed away from it.
Okay.
There's the MA cross. Some people like just using the 4 and 50 cross or the 50 and the 200 MA cross. Um, so I would say find something that you can understand and that works for you, and just work it. Just be
Yeah.
good at that one thing because, like they say, um, how does the phrase go? I don't know. I'm having a I'm
Jack of
drawing a.
all trades, master
There
of
it is,
none.
master of none. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
I knew
knew
it had
what you
something to do
wanted to
with Jack.
say.
Great, great. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like
So,
Jack.
are you're the master of support and support, resistance, and Fibonacci?
No, what I am is a learning student of support and
You
Fibonacci,
are.
but I'm better at those than I was the other strategies because they just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So pretty much I would say based off of what you've explained, like keeping it simple is the key.
Oh, exactly. And what I did find out, and I'm not trying to sway somebody's strategy or another.
Yeah.
Indicators, like you say, are lagging, meaning
Right.
you get the movement of the indicators after the market has made the move. So just using, like Benny says, your eye and support and resistance kind of keeps you uh, in the active moment of what's going on. And I feel like that gave me a better read than trying to read some of the indicators. And I don't knock that strategy because there are excellent people that do it.
Yeah.
And I've learned from them.
Yeah.
But just for me, I just couldn't get with it. Like I kept failing.
Yeah.
So I just went with what I knew: trend line, support, resistance, and now introducing the fib. And I just felt like that's what's better for me.
Do you feel like the Fibonacci tool, like even not knowing how to use it all together yet, do you think that's gonna like have a big impact on your trading game, or have you seen it have an impact so far?
I have. Just like I had texted you last week about that trade that I told you where I had less than the $50 drawdown, and it was on two positions that I had in that trade. When I whipped out the fib, it gave me the levels and how you explained to me if it hits red, then it's gonna go to red. If it hits blue, it's gonna go to blue. So I have an idea of where the wave should go next. And in
Right.
doing so, I can make an analysis of when I want to jump in a trade, And now I'm learning the little nuances. Like you taught me last week about you wouldn't jump into a trade unless it retraced back to the 50 level or the 61.8 level on the fifth, which I wish I had known that because early in the week before, and you had mentioned it in passing, but earlier in the week I had jumped in a trade that only went back to I think it was like the 38.2 level,
Yeah.
and it started to look like it was going back for a sale, and then it wound up retracing all the way back to the 50, and it
Yeah.
took me out. It hit my stop.
Yeah.
So when I took the trade later on in the week, I remembered that lesson, and that's how I
That's
felt
how you
like
got your
I,
$50 drawdown.
yeah, yeah, because I knew what I should look out for. I knew when I should get in, and I just felt more comfortable. And I was actually proud of myself on that trade because I felt like I analyzed it right and I
Yeah.
did everything right. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's good stuff.
yeah.
That's good stuff. So Mess Cove 17, and he specified he's a he. He said not getting into dollars, but is there a target number of pips or a daily percentage that you use for your goal?
Um, not getting into dollars. Uh, yeah, I usually like to get realistically between between 2 and 400 pips a day. So when I do a trade, I'll have my first TP might be around 250 pips on the indices because they move a little different than the pairs.
Right.
And then my second TP will be around 400, 450. And once I hit TP1, TP2, then I would have accomplished my goal for the day. And like Casey said, at that point, it's just walk away because only thing that could happen after that is bad.
You
Not
lose your
only
money.
thing, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
walk away while you're up. So
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then Sana, I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. How long do you recommend using demo accounts before going live? Now, I don't even want Kyle to answer this question because Kyle went against my wishes. Went
I
against
did.
my wishes and
I
opened a
did.
live account well before he should have.
I
But
did.
you can go ahead and tell the people what you did and what you would recommend.
Okay. So I would recommend when you're having consistent blue days, and when I say consistent blue days, I mean days where you feel really comfortable with trading your own money. Because at the end of the day, when you start losing your own money, you
That's
are
different.
losing your own money. Like
Right.
nobody's coming to save you. In that demo account, when you mess up, you just punch in some new numbers and get another account. When you start blowing your own money, that is a much different story.
That's a
So
whole different feeling.
that's right. When you're having those blue days, meaning you're in profit and you're consistently in profit and you're at the point. Well, when I used to, back in the early 2000s, I worked for a brokerage firm and we didn't trade stocks, but I had to get my stockbroker's license. And one thing that we always talked about, we did a lot with insurances and setting up investment profiles, was about your risk tolerance. And so the number one rule in it is investing, no matter if you're investing in stocks, real estate, if you're investing in, because I like music, if you're investing in an artist, if you're investing in art, if you're investing in whatever, never invest money you can't afford to lose.
Right.
So
That's
if
the
you're at
biggest
the
thing.
point where you can set up your account, let's say it's 500, 1,000, $10,000, and at the end of the day, you could walk away losing that amount of money and saying, okay, it's a lesson, but I'm okay. Then you can get to your live account. But if, like Benny said, if you're trying to trade because you like, I got a
Your
light bill that's
mortgage
coming up, or
due.
I got a car note, yeah, it's generally not going to end out well. It's not.
Right. Right. Because then that's kind of fueled
So
by emotion at that point.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And
And then you wind up trading, revenge trading. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
good.
Okay. So, another question. Well, to wrap that up, we're basically saying you want to have several blue days before you go live. My recommendation on that is being able to flip your demo account at least 2 to 3 times. So, starting at one point, not over leveraging, using proper risk management, and being able to grow that and then go into a live account. That's my recommendation. Don't do what Kyle did. Kyle is just like a
Don't.
freak of nature, and somehow it worked out for him. So,
Well,
um,
I was playing with house money. When I actually jumped into the live account, I was playing with house money because the government has sent out that stimulus money, and it was not
okay.
money that I was expecting to get anyway. So
So
I was
whatever.
like, it was. So, and it just worked out in my favor, and I just kept growing the account from there, and I got
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was playing with house money, so it made it easy.
Okay. Okay. And so the next question I have, what is your opinion about starting a trading account with $100 or a demo account to start dealing with emotions?
Dealing with emotion.
Yeah, but I think emotions come like if you're ill prepared, if you're not strong in analysis and like you're just hopping into stuff, I think that's when emotions are high. But if you know you've prepared and you've analyzed, like you already know going into a trade, if you're using proper risk management, you know going into a trade how much you're going to lose. I've got that calculator. I'm getting it fixed right
Right.
now. But
Okay.
you know going in that you're going to lose, let's say $125 on this trade based on the way you set it up, but you stand to make $800, you should be good, right? Like
Should be.
you won't have any emotion about that because you already know upfront what you stand to lose. If you're going in and you're not prepared and you're not, doing your homework, then that's when emotions, I think, get out of whack.
Yeah, I think I misunderstood the question.
Okay. Well, let me see if we answered the first part. Uh Yeah. So Antonio Rico, I think you have to become strong in analysis and then doing a demo account. I wouldn't trade real money yet unless you can afford to lose that $100. Um, Make sure you're just as prepared as possible and use
Now,
management.
I, I don't know if we could do this, but if you're into indices,
Uh-oh.
um, I used to trade. Well, I still do, but I first started out in a KOT account, and then I moved to a FX Choice account because they allowed you to trade smaller lot sizes. So if you're starting out with $100 and you use FX Choice, I believe you can trade at penny size lots instead of like KOT or some of the other brokers where you're at 10-cent lots, which will give you a little bit more room to play with and give you more opportunity to kind of understand the market and the way it moves without blowing the account. So that would be
Right.
my suggestion.
Right. Okay. Good advice. We have Hoop Dreams Music, Dominique. She says, with us being family and both full-time traders now, has that convinced other family members to try trading as well? And do we ever trade together? So, Dominique, just to specify, I wouldn't call myself a full-time trader. So I still work a regular job. The plan is to transition out. But I definitely have some things I want to take care of before I do that. So Kyle, you can hit the other part of convince other family members to trade. Well, let me say this first. Kyle is the first family member. Like I don't want to say I hounded Kyle, but I thought Kyle out of my family members would be the most open to try, and it took me 2 years and an economic downturn for him to decide to go ahead and do it. But my other family members just don't seem to be interested in it. I'll say my like my parents and my sister, they're kind of old school. So eventually I think that they'll be interested in learning more, but right now they're not. So, Kyle.
um, well, first of all, I wouldn't consider Casey my family. No, I'm just joking. But actually, let me tell you, after seeing some success that I have had with trading, because I've been keeping my parents abreast on the situation.
Yeah.
With me trading, my dad actually gave me money to start trading as well. And
Oh wow.
then
Does he want to learn though?
he wants me to do it for him.
Okay.
My mom, on the other hand, does want to learn.
Okay.
I know, I believe my sister's starting to show some interest.
Yeah, she
And
is.
then I have other friends, and I have had a couple other cousins that I talked about that have shown some interest and wanting to get involved with trading as well. So I think my goal is to, once I become a professional, quote unquote, funded trader, is to
Mm-hmm.
really make an effort and teaching my younger cousins, because I feel like they would be more apt
Yep.
to get involved,
Yeah.
teaching them how to do it, because we can easily catch up on generational wealth gaps that we have in our
Yep.
community if the younger kids are learning how to make money a lot sooner. And so I
Right.
know that's another conversation for another day.
It is.
But just as a side note, I had college friends that I went to college with, and they were paying for their own tuition at Michigan because their parents had basically started investing stocks for them when they were babies. So by the
Yeah.
time when they graduated high school, their graduation present was three-quarters of $1 million, $1 million. Now here, go start your life. So if I can help
That's a
my
nice
cousins,
start.
yeah, it is. It is. So that's what I'm saying. I want to. I believe that more of my cousins, because I'm one of the older cousins, I believe they'll follow suit if they see the example that I'm leaving. So, um,
So I have to ask, and this is not to be funny for anybody that's watching, the people who were set up like that, did they happen to be of a different hue?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So
they were.
this for me, this is part of the reason that I do this because I feel like as African American people, either we're always late to the game, right? Of whatever it might be that can create wealth for us, or it's just we don't have exposure. And so
Hmm.
that's part of the reason that I have this channel because I want people to see that Black folks do trade, right?
Yeah.
And we don't just build teams and, network market, like we actually trade,
Hmm.
right? And so that's kind of why I have this channel too. One of the reasons why. And I take that back, Dominique. I did have a cousin who started out trading as soon as probably about a year after I started trading. She was interested and she came on board. And I had a couple friends and whatnot, but my family, they're old school. So I think it's going to take some big, big, big numbers for them to be like, all right, I'm ready. So
It will,
good
but
stuff.
they will.
Oh,
By this
yeah.
time next year, we'll both be banging, and they'll start
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
like,
All right, what's
what?
up?
Yeah, what you guys doing?
Right. Is it
So
legal? I want to get
exactly,
in.
exactly. Or as my
Yeah,
dad would
yeah.
say, "Are you gonna retire me now?" So yeah.
That's cool. Okay, and let's see. We have a comment from Silver Fox Forex Investment, and he or she. I'm sorry, I don't know what you are, but I have shown my wife how to trade as well as my four daughters, and he's teaching his 14-year-old son how to trade forex too. So, is this something that you would teach your children?
It definitely is, because it's, if I could, the reason why I jumped into it was because I saw it as valuable as a skill finally, where I didn't need anybody else to give me a job, where I can now
Right.
create a world for myself. So when my daughter becomes of age where I feel like she would be interested in it, then yeah, I'll teach her, because anybody can learn support, resistance, trend lines, and wait for a candle to break the trend line. It's
Right.
not rocket science, trading stock, even though, let's say, these movies make it seem like that, like
It's
Wall
not
Street
that
is
deep.
just some animal. No, it actually isn't. And like I said, I pushed Casey away for 2 years because I was intimidated, because I thought it was going to take more time and effort than it actually did. And no way am I saying it's easy, but it's a skill. And like I said, with skills and education, nobody can ever take that from me. They can take my money from me, but you can't take the fact that I graduated from the University of Michigan. You can't
Go
take that
blue.
away from me. Yeah, right. You can't take what I learned. away
Right.
from it. So
Right, right,
yeah, for sure.
right. Okay. And you mentioned something that I kind of want to touch on because we've done an interview with Ryan, who is a funded trader. And you mentioned when you become funded. So the plan is you are going to test to be funded?
Yeah, yep. That's the plan because I see the value. The value
Yeah.
is if I can do what I'm doing with my own money, imagine what I could do with more money, which
Oh
is what
boy.
a funded trader would provide me that opportunity. And
Right.
so I just feel like it would be the next progression for me, being able to
Yeah.
trade much larger accounts while and still growing my own account using basically when you set up businesses and things of that nature, you always hear quote unquote rich folks say you want to build business with somebody else's money.
Right.
So as a funded trader, I can use the money that I'm earning off of somebody else's money to grow my own account. And
Yeah.
in doing so, it would just enhance um, what I'm trying to do with my life and my family and hitting goals and such. So, yep, that
Right.
is the goal. The funded trader is the next step.
Okay. Okay. I think well, let me ask you this too. What else do you do in preparation for your trading week? Like do you like I know somebody asked, do we get together? But like who do you get together with to prep?
So to prep, so I get together with you, Benny, Ryan, the Forex Group, the
Yeah.
education that we have on Saturday morning, even though it's very pair heavy, driven about trading pairs and using some swing trading techniques. Um, I'm comfortable trading indices because I learned the skill set that you guys taught me, and that skill set is transferable. So, like Benny says, whether you're trading pairs, whether you're trading indices, whether you're trading apples, oranges, shoes, corn, commodities, once you learn the skill set, it's transferable. So,
Right.
uh, we have scanner training on Sunday, and we have early morning week setup, or I guess you call it Forex weekly review,
Right.
where we review trades from the week prior and then trades that we think are going to happen the next week. And that just kind of helps in preparation of my week because I found that some pairs move and coin they coincide with the way that the indices move.
Right.
So you can kind of see what's going to happen as you look at certain pairs, or you can see what is going to happen in pairs when you look at indices.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense. You guys are all invited to join us next weekend for our weekly Forex ritual, which is what Kyle is talking about. That is no cost. It's just a group of people who enjoy trading and we get together and we mark up charts. So the link to do that will be posted below this video. And are there any final words, Kyle, that you want to say?
Um, I would just say keep pushing. Even when you're trading, I mean, there's been times when, firstly, when I first started out, where my gains were minimal, and I watched those gains grow. I've had times where I've taken loss after loss after loss, and I figured out what I was doing wrong. Well, I don't want to call them losses. I call them lessons
There you
because
go.
and taking those losses, I realized that I didn't do something on my checklist. I violated some rules, and those lessons have kind of helped me get to where I am now. And I'm excited about where I can be and what trading will allow for me to have. So, if there's one thing that I can tell you to do is, keep pushing the envelope, keep trying to learn as much as you can, keep trying. If you fail, get up, do it again. That's what those demo accounts are for.
Yep.
Um, I know it sounds silly and you hear it all the time. Do as I say, not as I do. I really feel like I don't want to say I got lucky, but I want to feel like I got blessed
Yeah.
with the success that I've had so far, and I do understand that it may not be typical. So to the next person, I would say still get after it, get after it. I mean, I went after the skill like it was a job, like it was a 40-hour a week job. I got into it. I got involved in it. I wasn't afraid to ask questions. I still have questions that sometimes I think are stupid that I'll still ask some of my guys that trade indices real heavy. So, just learn the skill, because once you learn the skill, nobody can never take that from
Right. And I just want to say too that you don't have to be not working to trade. It may take you longer to get to the point that Kyle is at, but even if you could only dedicate like 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day,
you.
do that and just be consistent with it. So your improvement or your success may be slower than what he's experienced, but it will definitely come. All
Well
right,
said.
Kyle. How can the
All right
people
now.
reach you if they want to reach out to you? What's your email?
You can email me at Kyle Aaron. So that's KYLEERRON 112 at gmail.com. So that's Kyle Aaron, two E's, two R's, ON 112 at gmail.com.
All right. Thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you. Well, I will catch you on the next video, and we're gonna bring Kyle back once he becomes funded, so y'all can ask him all the questions about how he worked his magic and made it happen. Thanks for
That's right.
watching. See you later.
I'll see you sometime next year.
Yeah, right. Bye.
Bye.